Yes, welcome back ladies and gentlemen, tankers of the universe, to the channel. We have another tank chat for you today, and this is one of the lady tankers in WoT Blitz. Say hello to Amaunet85.
Hello! Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, good to have you on the channel, and that, well, dare I say a hallmark giggle is already there. That's basically a trademark, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
It kind of is.
That and the singing.
Yeah. You've sent me 4 games in some of your favorite tanks, and you said, well, it's not massive games altogether, but they are games that have something in it that is good to see.
Yes. And for me, of course, E5 has to be in there, even though I don't like it nearly as much without a cupola.
No.
It is still a very good tank, and it's a heavium, and I like heaviums.
What do you like about heaviums, actually?
I like that they're more versatile. You can use them as a medium, you can use them as a heavy, depending on the map and the team composition and all of it. So they don't have really armor, they don't quite have the mobility, but they have a little bit of everything. And it makes it just useful in just about every situation.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. One thing I found actually quite funny to see you drive quite a lot out of sniper mode as opposed to what I'm used to.
in these battles I actually do. I have been trying to teach myself to sniper mode a little bit less. For the most part, I'm still the most effective when I'm in sniper mode, so you see me going back in it quite quickly. Because for some reason it makes me wiggle very effectively, and you see that so far I bounced every shot of this. And this is basically why I chose this video, because it's like E5 on E5 action, how troll the E5 can be against another E5.
And you've lost 2 hit points because of ramming him. But other than that, nothing lost in this encounter so far. And
I will lose HP, but yeah.
Yeah, but when you can take him down one-on-one, take the entirety of a tier 10 heavy out of the game, well, it's a good feat.
Exactly, and this is basically why I like the E5, just the fact it's troll, it has troll armor, and if you wiggle it effectively, it can be so good. Like now it helps that this guy is a bit of a potato, which probably helps me a lot. But all the same, it was some nice E5 on E5 action, so that's basically why I just chose this this game to send in.
As the first one. We're gonna have 3 more of them. I was surprised to not see a tank destroyer game.
I'm not a big fan of tank destroyers anymore, if I'm honest.
You started the game on tank destroyers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's why I drive the sniper mode stuff. Because the first 4 lines that I went down were all TDs, and the first turret line I went down was the E4 line. And basically, when you're in a TD, you don't really need to zoom out, because you don't have a turret, so you don't really need to look elsewhere but what you're actually going to be shooting. So I just always stayed zoomed in, so I learned the maps differently, I learned the tanks differently, positioning and all of that. I do it with the little blue tank. I know exactly how my tank is angled. And it's not always as effective as it could be, but for me it really works.
Yeah, it's hardwired into your system. You've been playing the game since it came out on iOS, I think?
Just about July 2014.
Yeah.
So just a month after it came out.
Okay, how did you end up in the game itself?
We were having a family reunion, and my uncle was like, Joe, you gotta install this game, you'll like it, it's funny. And I mostly just installed it to keep him from repeating it over and over again. And then I kind of got addicted, and 4.5 years later, here we are.
Just to get an annoying uncle off your back, you decide to install a game. And then you're a community contributor, and you have a YouTube channel as well. And how many games have you done so far?
I'm nearing 30k now, so I'm officially a no-lifer.
Yeah, that would be a good term. Did your uncle did your uncle join you in the no-life department, or?
I don't know. I don't see him around anymore. Last I saw, he did play a heck lot back way back when. He wasn't quite the player you would like to have on your team.
Okay.
But he tried. Yes. No, but I've met him in game like a few times, and most of the time he was in the enemy team, and most of the time we kind of pwned him. So we're quite competitive in my family. So when you're playing a board game, it's not just about winning from the other, it's about completely smashing the other. So yeah, in that case, it worked out well for me.
Good on you. I hope your uncle can get his revenge in a sweet Blitz way, but that's a whole different matter.
Yeah. This, by the way, is why I chose this game. Basically, what I'm doing now is I'm trolling. I'm letting my team take the shots behind me, and when I can, I just peek out and get some damage in. So I've taken out most of that. Exactly. So I need to make sure. This is also one of the reasons why sniper mode can be effective, because you see exactly what you can and can't shoot.
Yeah.
When with your tank angled as it is.
And then vice versa, if they can shoot you or not. A bit lucky they're blocking that 62 right in front of the sand, as he wanted to shoot you. But you've got 3 tanks behind you, and then a tank at the B cap as well. And then there's a Yark target spotted.
Yes. And he's gonna get pretty much deleted.
Yeah, 739. Bye-bye hit points.
But that's basically, I don't mind, I'm peeking out aggressively, but I'm peeking out aggressively so that I can pull back faster as well, because we don't know where all the enemies are. And all I need to do is just stay here and just troll the guy. Yeah. We've kept all the bases, there's no way we're gonna lose this. I did take some damage there, so I'm just gonna push on so that I can't get shot from those guys. And now the Yak Tiger is disappearing all the more.
Yeah.
And there he goes.
And he's gone. We're going to see in the end statistics how many spotting damage you took from that encounter. But it was quite a lot actually. You do get that nice cruise kill thingy, that light tank cruise kill, where you get the full wall on a tank. That's because you are that more accurate as well in the sniper mode?
Yes. Basically, if I have a hit ratio in a tank that is below 83%, it's low. Because I take the time to aim. I'd rather lose some HP and make sure that my shot counts than snapshots and have basically a useless shot, which means that I'm useless for an X amount of seconds while I'm reloading. Yeah. That's the same reason why I, when I'm facing an enemy that is well armored, I switch to Premo almost immediately, because I know that it will be, even if I do a little less damage per shot, if I make sure the shots actually pen, that helps a lot.
Yeah. So to quote Elvis on this one, a little less damage, a little more action, please.
Yes.
Yeah, would be a good one. Very bad pun, but hey-ho.
It works.
Almost towards YouTube. You do have a channel as well.
Yes, I do. It's not quite as big as yours, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
Yeah, but I was going to mention something else. You are not really a community contributor that does it for the YouTube views. You have other things.
I didn't used to be, no. I became a community contributor mostly because I did. At the time, we didn't have tournaments and everything in the game, so you need to know that to know why this was effective. I hosted a countdown event every month. For the whole European server, basically just to get people together, create competitive gameplay, because basically we would have entire games that were just people from the events. Yeah. And that made for competitive gameplay. And of course you couldn't really communicate it over the over voice, because you were all on voice together. Yeah. And that just made it a lot more fun. And again, this was before we got tournaments and everything, so it's not quite as big as it used to be. And I also blogged for a very long time. I don't do that as much now anymore because working prefers focusing on the YouTube stuff. Yeah. So that's why I'm also focusing on YouTube a lot more. But I still host ICE every month. Next episode is actually tomorrow, and it's just
on December 29th. You do have a dedicated Discord server for ICE as well, the inter-clan event.
Yes.
I think it might need to clarify a bit for people who are completely new to the game. Back in the days, God, we're sounding old when we say stuff like that. But back in the days,
we sound old. We are old, Martin.
But as I was saying, back in the days, clans themselves, as we have clan tags now, they weren't in the game.
No, this was all pre that, and this was actually quite funny because there were so many clans yet, and we had nowhere to actually say there were clans aside from, like, on the forum. People would put it in their signatures and stuff, and the forum wasn't that toxic as it was now, so people actually still used the forum back then.
I think Discord wasn't even a thingy back then. We had TeamSpeak,
TeamSpeak.
Forums and dedicated websites. And then everybody from clans would get together. They would sign up on the TeamSpeak server, get up on the TeamSpeak server, and then you would count down, hit the battle button simultaneously, and whack each other.
Yes.
Ice in a nutshell.
Exactly. And basically, what you just do, you meet each other and you murder the heck out of each other.
Yeah. For those who watch the video now and haven't played it, haven't played in Ice before, would you recommend people to participate December 29th?
For sure, if they want to. It's basically, there's only two rules. One is be polite. Basically, it's a community event where you're just trying to have fun together, so being rude is not an option.
Nope.
And pick the right tier. We basically go across all the tiers throughout the evening, and it's just, yeah, if you don't have the right tier, you're free to pick the tier below it, but never the tier above it, because it will give you an unfair advantage.
Are you even going to play tier 1? Because I know you really don't like the tech tree changes.
I have a feeling that I won't, actually, because exactly what you said, I don't like the tech tree changes. It kind of hurts. I miss my old tier 1 tanks. It's no fun anymore. The low tiers are like completely imbalanced at the moment, so I've not gone there. So probably we will stick to tiers 5 to 10 tomorrow. Well, the 29th, but yeah. That's just because it's just not as much fun, and I think people with the event, they just want to get the doubles out of the way and everything. It's a great way of grinding for events, because you end up playing for hours without really noticing that it's been hours.
Yeah. And you do get some very good training in as well, because you play against a lot of good players.
Mm-hmm.
What would you consider top tips for new players in World of Tanks Blitz?
Well, first of all, know that you can buy Primo with credits instead of just gold.
Yeah.
You can do that. Just click the currency and it changes. Don't be afraid to use Primo.
Press apply, because if you then log back, it changes to gold again.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to use Primo, because it's helpful, even if you do a little less damage. Like I said, if you can make sure that shot actually pans and is effective, then for sure it will help you do more than when you keep shooting and you keep bouncing, because that's quite useless. And the minimap is your best friend. Always pay attention to your minimap. It shows you where your team is, but most importantly, it shows you where your enemies are. And if you get a good eye for that, you're much more likely to play the game effectively and go where you need to go, because that's not always with your team. It's usually with your team, because if you're not going as a team, you're more likely to get singled out and shot to hell. But all in all, it helps you a lot, because you know where your backup is. I know that my backup is heading towards base A in this game, which means that they can have a crossfire over here, so I can safely peek out here, even though I know I'm making myself a big target right now. I don't mind, because I have my team behind me, so it will be hard for them to shoot me.
And as long as you can keep targets lit and you know your teammates have shots on them, you can see that from the markers popping up, then it's safe to stay in the position where you are.
Exactly, and the T-34-85 just got absolutely deleted. And with no one else being spotted, it's fairly safe to assume that the rest of the enemy team is around there somewhere. So I just go and be cheeky and go behind them.
Yeah.
And this guy doesn't even notice me at first. Yeah.
What tanks would you recommend to new players? I mean, you
Heavies.
started 4 lines of tank destroyers, but you already say heavies, without a sense of doubt.
I would definitely go for heavies, because they're more forgiving. With a TD, it's all the more important that you get your shots in. Lights, if you get shot, you basically die instantly. Same with mediums. They take a lot of practice to basically get right. But if you go for the heavies, you have a little bit of armor. They're a bit more forgiving. They have decent guns, but not too powerful and not too derpy, so they take a reasonable amount of time to aim and all of that. So it's just a more forgiving type of tank to learn the game in.
Would you then recommend a KV-1S like the one we've seen before, or an ARL, or any other type of heavy tank?
I personally think that the IS-7 line is the most forgiving line to go down. It's not all good tanks. I'm not a fan of quite a few of them. But it is also the most forgiving tier 10 you will get if you go for it at first. Yeah. And that's why I would recommend going for it. Because a lot of people go to tier 10 way too fast, have a tank that can be is just paper and is eaten by everything and everyone. And with an IS-7, if it's your first tier 10, you actually have a chance to be effective.
Yeah, because it has the armor, it has the mobility, it has a derpy gun, but up close and personal, that doesn't really matter.
Exactly, and it's just the armor is so troll that it's just forgiving.
Okay, cool. And what about the E5 line?
I love the E5. E5 would be a good like second or third line to go down because all the tanks are pretty fun. They're all pretty mobile, pretty armor. Not too much of each, but it's like a nice transition towards other tanks because it's not a typical heavy, and the whole line isn't typical heavy.
Okay, so I think there we have it. 2 good recommendations for tanks, for heavy tanks: the IS-7 line and the E5 line. Use Premo, use it wisely, yes. Buy it with credits, and tune in on the ICE event tomorrow. I'm going to drop a link in the description below to the Discord server. You have to be there on voice because of countdowns.
Yes, and last but not least, a shameless plug. I still have a competition running for the last couple of days of December. The forum topics will be in the link of the video as well. Check them out. You can win prizes. It's not too difficult. Every tier has its own competition, so just enter.
Yeah, 10 Tiers of Christmas, links in the description below. Lots of links today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Blitz Universe. But it's all good shameless for the community. Yeah, we're helping out the community here. Thank you very much for joining me, Amaunet85, on this tank
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very much welcome. Do subscribe to her. She has a very lovely YouTube channel. And I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers, happy tanking, and bye-bye.
Bye.